The most dangerous things we do in aviation and rescue, flying into storms, hoisting into chaos, launching when everyone else seems to be running away. They aren't reckless, they're calculated. Welcome to the Real ResQ Podcast. When you get a moment, head over to therealresq.com to check out the growing list of partners offering exclusive deals just for you guys as our audience. Save money while supporting the companies that support this community. Coming up next, Dave Weber and I are back again. This time with a presentation that I put together called Extreme by Nature, Safe by Design. Every move is backed by layers of training, discipline, and a system designed to keep us alive when everything starts to go sideways. This isn't just about helicopters or rescues. It's about understanding your edge, managing that risk, and performing when it matters most. Because the truth is, the more extreme the mission, the more deliberate safety behind it needs to be. Now let's go. My name is Jason Quinn. I am United States Coast Guard Rescue Swimmer number 500. These are my rescues and rescues from those of us that put our lives on the line every day so others may live. This is the Real ResQ Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Real ResQ Podcast. Dude, I am stoked. We are here at Verticon 2026 in Atlanta. I am here with my man, Dave Weber. What's up, dude?
We're back.
We are back. We are in person recording. Like, this is awesome, dude.
It's our jam.
It
That's
is.
what we do. We just meet up in random exotic locations and talk.
It's great.
On film.
Well, this one's kind of cool because I've always sat here and had your presentations on, and I threw a presentation together and we get to talk about it.
Yeah, we're flipping the script. You're on the hot seat now.
I know, right? It's terrible. And I'm so excited at the same time.
Oh, it's great.
It's good. It's good. Well, you want to dive right into it?
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Let's go.
So I actually, you know what? Before I dive too far into this, let me give the title. So the title is PowerPoint presentation that we're doing, and anybody can go on YouTube and actually check this out. If not, you can just listen and we'll kind of explain each slide as they go. But I literally named it Extreme by Nature, Safety by Design. And the more I was thinking about this, I was like, dude, if you asked me if I was ever going to do a safety presentation of any type of safety, I'm like, no, I live on the edge all the time. Safety, like I'm all about safety third.
I know.
A little later, safety down the line, whatever. Like put the, what are some of the other ones that you know of? Like,
Well, all of them. I do. It seems counterintuitive, but it feels like the antithesis of everything we've done. Like
right.
in no job interview, we're like, why do you want to do this? You're like, because it's safe.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
That was never the answer. But behind the scenes, it's like we got the joke played on us. It was like all the training, all the operations, all the missions. In the end, we actually made things super safe. But they almost had to trick us into doing it. They're like, oh, we're going to train and do all this cool stuff. And in the end, we're just getting really safe at doing it. And if they would have told us that, we'd have been like, oh, I'm not doing that.
Right, totally.
But if you just tell me if it's extreme, I'm in.
Yeah.
It's great. It's rescue. It's fun stuff, like with friends. Great. I'll do that.
Yeah. Start with that and then be like, yeah, I'm in.
Yeah. You got to trick me into safety.
Right. I actually think about this from time to time too, because how many times have you been talking to somebody and they're like, oh my God, I would never do that. That's crazy. You're like, well, no, it's not. It's
kind of become every day, which I guess is the goal, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Versus the like, wow, you sit in a cubicle all day. Like that sounds crazy to me. And far more hazardous, honestly. Like you're going to die from blood clots.
Yeah, right. Yeah. My wife being a teacher, like a classroom teacher.
Oh, yeah. Those kids will kill her.
Yeah, no thanks.
Yeah. You got 30 people trying to kill you every day.
I think about all the training classes you and I might go on and the things we say to our adult colleagues, our adult students. Oh, yeah. There's no way. Oh, yeah. I'd be out of a classroom tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. Not appropriate.
No. But anyway, so there's a couple of things on this slide in particular that I think about because I've been extreme. I'm an adrenaline junkie. I've always been an adrenaline junkie ever since I was a kid, but I've been skydiving. I've dove like scuba diving down to like 60 meters, which is really far. And
I tell people that, like, oh my God, you went down that deep. And I remember being underwater looking up like, whoa, this is a long way up. It's cool.
Yeah.
But again, comfortable. The job hanging from a helicopter. And then I was working with my dad for a while with steeples, domes, and towers. And like I'd be standing on top of a steeple painting like whatever the spire. And most people look at us like, what are you doing up there? And I'm like, oh, gotta do some repairs.
I
And that was
know.
it. Right.
I think
So-
for so many of these things, it's like, you know, we can have all the textbook answers. We can say the right thing, maybe
Yeah.
in an interview, or if we're being asked a question by maybe the new person on the team. But in reality, it's like, for most of us, I think it should be like fun should be first.
Right.
You know, like,
Right.
because fun will keep you around. Fun will keep you like engaged and psyched. And after that, probably the team. And then maybe after that's going home. You know, like
Yeah.
those, for me, it's like those are the things that really, if I'm honest, you know, if I'm not giving you the textbook answer, like I want to have fun at what I'm doing. And I want to do it with fun people and enjoyable people. And then, yeah, safety and like doing it the correct way. But the first two are really my first, if
Yeah.
I'm honest.
Yeah.
And
Well,
just like here, like
yeah.
what you're doing, you're like, wow, I'm engaged in this. Like I'm actually locked in when I'm doing these things that look extreme or whatever, but
Yeah.
I'm locked in because it's fun.
Right.
I'm
And-
not complacent.
That's actually why I joined or went to swimmer school. I'm like, I get to jump out of a helicopter. Oh my God. Yes. Sign me up.
Yeah. I can do that for 20 years
Yeah. Right.
versus like there's a bunch of things I can do for about 6 months and then I'm out.
Yeah.
But
Right.
I'm not looking for the 6-month job.
No. I'm looking for the fun extended. you know,
Yeah.
beyond.
Yeah.
Dude, that's funny. All right, slide 2 is like what this means for everybody else, right? And the important part about this for me is that I don't want people to be the headline. And when I say that, it goes on both sides. One is the people that are out there doing the extreme sports, mountain climbing, hang gliding, wingsuit, right? Some of the extreme stuff, right? I don't want them to be a headline. I want them to go out and do that. Why? Because I want to be able to do that. Like, I'm going to throw Tom Cruise in there a couple times. Like when he did his Mission Impossible stunt, he rode the motorcycle and jumped off the cliff. And then all of a sudden he's parachuting down. Dude, none of that was safe, but he did it in so many different ways that it was like, oh, yeah, it's not too bad. I think he actually holds the world record for the next one of like parachutes on fire.
Right.
Like, I mean,
You're
but
like,
it's extreme, right? But he was never a headline. And that's the point, right?
Yeah.
Now, at the same time, with the rescuers, we don't want to be the headline. Our job is to go out and get somebody, and we want to do it in a very professional manner, but a safe manner to get them out of harm's way. They got themselves into a precarious position, and now they're asking us to help them.
yeah, I think 2 things come to mind with that. Like I had a really great mentor and he would say all the time, their emergency is not our emergency. And so I think having that first gut check of like, hey, you could hear this horrible story on the radio, the pager, the call out. And it's like, hey, in reality, it's like, okay, can we go help them? Like, but
Right.
whatever like dire straits they're in, like, that's not my emergency. My emergency is something else. And I need to be able to go help you with yours and bring you back. And I think the other thing, this came from like the avalanche world. And they would say all the time, like, 2 things before you like drop in to ski this thing or snowboard this thing. They'd say, okay, 2 things in your assessment. Number 1, would you leave all your safety equipment behind? Like, are you that confident that you're like, yep, I really believe in my assessment here that I would leave all this safety stuff back because I know this is going to go okay.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, how confident am I like going into some of these rescues? Would I like get rid of whatever backup I got? Would I leave my cutter behind? Because I know like, hey, I'm not going to have to cut free. Like, how confident we are. And I think that's a good gut check. And the other one was, what's your mom going to read in the paper? And that's where this one comes like, okay, what's your mom going to read about your decision making today if you do end up in the paper, or your parents, your dad, your siblings, whatever? Like that for me is the really good gut check of like, are they going to say I was an idiot today? Or are they going to say, hey, I made good decisions, I had bad luck today?
Right.
Those 2 I think are really powerful for me to be. Would you leave all the safety stuff back? And like, what's mom going to read?
Right. Man, that's really a good one. I didn't really think about that one. That's good.
Yeah.
Dude, this is why we do this.
I know.
All
Man.
right. Next one. Okay, so this is kind of funny. So I pulled this video off Instagram, and I'm gonna hit play here for a second, but the bottom line is it's some dude that's like trying to snow below his roof. And like actually the comment in here is, how much do you charge for snow blowing a roof? And the dude falls off the roof. So the point of the video is more along the lines of, we do know and we can visually see what is unsafe.
Yeah.
Right. We can put checks and balances and say, you know what? Maybe that wasn't the smartest thing to do. Why don't you try a shovel if you need to clear off your roof?
So many things.
Right?
Rope, whatever. Like if it ends up on Instagram, it's probably not the role model you're looking for.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it's great. Like such a good example of just like, okay, like when you talk about Tom Cruise, like when he did all those things, like it wasn't the first time he'd done it. Like he wasn't winging it. It wasn't like, okay, so you want me to jump off this thing and then parachute and then there's fire involved? Like, no, we're going to hammer this through sequentially. Like, hey, let's do the jump, jump, jump. You know, like those are the pieces that like here, this guy's like, well, I'll wing it. Yeah, going up's fine. Like hiking up anything. Then I make the turn and things get different.
Right. Totally. Which is funny because we could like digress this whole thing or reconstruct it and say, you know what, maybe if he had tied a line on and then that way he couldn't have fallen down.
Yeah.
Hey, and you still get to snow blow the roof.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Because how much do you charge for snow blowing? He only got like an eighth of the roof.
Yeah, totally.
With discount.
Yeah. And he took up a pipe, so it probably cost him more money.
Yeah. And I bet his wife was happy.
Oh, yeah. His wife was pissed. So then I got a picture here, and what it is it's literally like probably a 20-foot ladder that is cut in half, and it's screwed together with a couple pieces of wood and what looks like a wall shelf hanger. And I laughed at this because I'm walking by this picture or this ladder, and I'm looking at it. I take a picture. I send it to my dad. I'm like, "What do you think? Is this OSHA approved?" And it's a joke because it's definitely not. But at the same time, the more I look at it, I'm like, these guys are using this without a problem. So is it safe?
Yeah.
I mean,
I know I think so much about like whether it's the committees at work or the like policies and procedures, the things that we take like sometimes years to figure out because we think we're going to like root out all the potential problems. And in the end, it's like, you know what? Like sometimes these things that either the workforce comes up with as a solution that are working, and we're like, no, you didn't follow the policy. And you're like, well, your policy doesn't work, or your policy's convoluted, or I can't understand your policy. So I did this. And it's like, wow, that's working. Okay. How can we like accept that a little bit more and be like, hey, wait a sec. Like we think that all these rules and regs and OSHA and everything we got like are keeping us safe. And you're like, well, ask them how many dudes fell off that ladder in their flip-flops.
Yeah.
None of us.
Which they were in flip-flops.
Right. And they're like, any of you guys on workers' comp right now?
Yeah.
No.
Nope.
Huh.
No.
Half my team's on workers' comp with all this fancy stuff.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I think we can get lost in that thinking that we're like being safer by all these like standards and policies and things. And paperwork and policies don't make safe.
No.
Practice makes safe. And if you practice running up and down that ladder 50 times a day, you're going to be better at it than me, like reading a manual about how to climb that ladder.
Yeah. Well, and you could also you could reinforce a couple things too on this, which I mean, would I take that to every job site? Probably not.
Yeah, it looks like they did reinforce it. They're like, well, that string broke, so we'll add the hammer handle.
It's just kind of funny, like actually. And you know what? Actually, when my wife saw this picture, she's like, "I don't get it." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's because you're not on a ladder. I understand why."
Oh man, I remember distinctly being in Nepal for the first time, and India, I feel like the same way. It's like you just watch the flow of traffic, and if you watch it, it seems like utter chaos.
Yeah.
But then when you step back, it's like, wow, you know what? I haven't seen I haven't seen a single accident.
No.
I haven't seen a single person get hit by a car. I haven't seen anything flipped over. It's like, okay, so me in this world of like speed limits, separated highways, all this stuff, it's like I see like burning vehicles once a week, and then we go to this thing that feels chaotic, and it's like, wait, okay, they're not going 85 miles an hour, they're going like 40, and no one's dead.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, which is better?
Yeah. It works.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't make it unsafe.
No.
Right. Okay. We got that one. Okay.
Boom.
Story time. Story
Big
time. All right. So when I graduated rescue swimmer school, it was in 2000. And my first unit was Kodiak, Alaska. I got qualified up there. And in Kodiak, Alaska, we actually do a couple deployments. We go to Cordova in the summertime. And then in the wintertime, we go out to either Coal Bay or St. Paul Island out in the middle, kind of the Bering Sea and on the Aleutian chain. For me, this was the end of the Apelio crab season. Will Milam was my opposite on this in particular, because we do 2 weeks and like you swap, like crew swap every 2 weeks, but they offset it. So you've got like 1 week with one opposite crew and then a week with another opposite crew. So what was cool about this is that we had gone out and we had done a flight, and the flight was pretty much over. We had put about 5 hours on the air crew. We're getting ready to duty swap. And we're actually coming to the end of the season. Like the crab season is just about over. And then all of a sudden, this guy,
it's not over,
by the name of David Shoemaker, he was the captain of the fishing vessel Galaxy. He had an explosion on his vessel, and he was able to make it to a handheld radio and make a mayday call. Mayday, mayday, mayday. Fishing vessel Galaxy. We've got an explosion on board, multiple people injured. We need help. We need help now. That was the message over the radio. The Coast Guard came back. I hear you. We're launching, right? So I've never heard a mayday call. Like, that's not my job. My job is the next step. So the mayday call happens, or the 911 call, or if you're in, I guess, the UK, the 999 call. Somebody makes a emergency radio call, and a rescue coordination center gets that call, and they deploy. They send us. Have you heard, like, you personally?
No. And, I think it's a good thing. We talked about it a little bit before, but I think, in the HEMS world where we kind of bracket people based on job description. So we get a call, or dispatch center takes a call, and then they call pilot and be like, hey, we're not telling you anything about patient scenario. Can you fly to and from this place? That's all we need to know. We're not telling you anything else. We don't want the fact that it's 7-year-old kid that we're going to do that might put undue pressure on you, or the fact that, hey, it's night conditions or other teams have tried. Like, no, hey, we need to, can you fly safely to this place or to this place and back? Same thing with med crew. Hey, we're not going to talk to you about weather. And I think that's really good here. Like, we shouldn't hear those voices. Like, sometimes that initial call, the panic, the scenario, like the things that would cloud our judgment is like, hey, can you go to this place and do this job? And first, I think that's probably the first measure of safety for us is like, hey, we need you to perform this just like it's training.
Yeah.
Can you go do this thing? We're probably going to have to pull a number of people off of a vessel, this type of seas. Can you do that? Yes or no? Forget the injuries, forget the scenario. Like, can you do this job?
Right.
It's like, yeah, because in the end, it is a job. And I think we need to remain clear-headed and actually operate in some like sphere of safety, is to be like, hey, can I do this thing that I've trained for 100 times? Sure, I've never met Dave, but I've seen something like this.
Right. Exactly. And I look at it multiple ways of, I'm with you. Like, I don't want to know. And every launch out that I've ever had is calm, cool, and collective. You've got a boat taking on water. There's a fire on board. They are very, very chill.
Yeah.
Like, hey, launch the ready aircraft. Launch the ready crew for this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, we got a medevac over here. Okay, cool.
Yeah. And I think whether purposeful or not, probably us not hearing those mayday calls or the initial call for help is probably a good thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
so that in particular rescue, and I'm going to throw a little shout out to this podcast specifically because I actually had a chance to record with Captain Shoemaker. It's episode 101. It was a bit of a prequel to my episode of 100 where I go into full depth detail about this rescue. And this is the biggest rescue I've ever had in my career, still to this day. And I'm pretty good with that. I'm going to throw that out there as well. Okay. But we have to fly like 2 hours out to location to get to the vessel on fire. We got Good Samaritans coming out. We've got another 860 coming out of Kodiak. We've got a C-130 coming out. Like, there's 26 people in the water. Like, or that's the report. And they've abandoned ship. So what's interesting is that we show up in scene, and like when you think about it, at that moment in time, I am hanging below an H-60 helicopter on a 3/16-inch cable, right?
Yeah.
And it's 15 to 20 foot waves. It's a boat on fire. There's people in a raft. There's people stuck on the boat. What part of that is safe? Like, name one thing in that is actually safe.
Right.
But that is what we're called to do.
I know. And that's the funny part is like we come from similar-ish worlds, right?
Yeah.
From the outside world. Like,
Yep.
yeah, I work with helicopters. You work with helicopters. But everything you just described, terrifying to me. Like I would never be there. Like my patients don't move. Once the initial fall happens, they're there. Like
Yeah.
my world, like the mountain isn't moving. It's not oscillating 20 feet. Like terrifying to me, man. But that I think goes all back to this where, yeah, I've never done that. That's like a foreign world to me. Everything that you just described, like fire, boats, water, waves, like none of that.
Yeah.
But for you, you're like, oh yeah, that's normal. Versus like we could put you somewhere else where you're like cave or super vertical terrain. I don't know.
Yeah.
You'd be like, oh, that's terrifying to me. But
Yeah.
it's not because, hey, I've done a bunch of training there. You've done a bunch of training there to make it not so.
Totally. All right. So now that we asked ourselves, is it reckless? Is anything that we're going to do is reckless? So hence the next slide. Is this reckless? And one of the things, the picture that I have up here is Ben Franklin flying a kite in a lightning storm, right? We all know the story. Hey, this is how electricity was made. Kind of.
Yeah.
This is how it was founded. How's that?
Yeah. That's
know?
where it started.
Yeah. Who in their right mind would fly a kite today in a storm like that?
Yeah.
I mean, we know better, right? So we've learned, we've matured from this.
Yeah.
But we have lights. I mean, look at all these lights and all the power and everything that we've done that's electricity based. Thank you, Ben Franklin. That's
You
awesome.
did set it up, so we might get shocked. But in
Totally.
general, your bathroom lights, we're okay.
Yeah, excellent, right? But you have to ask yourself, is that being reckless, right? But it's not. It's an illusion of recklessness.
Yeah.
And that is a huge key point. And this next slide, I've actually got people base jumping off this cliff and a beautiful sunset. And you're like, and that right there, like people only see 2%. Right? You see the accident on Instagram, on the news, on a newspaper clipping.
Yeah.
Some dude that did a wingsuit and misjudged that gap, and man, he's got broken bones all over. We actually heard stories from the boys down at Pennell County Sheriff's Department, right? And
yeah,
you too.
Amazing stories where it's like we like normalize some risks and some things that might be reckless, and other things we deem like, oh, that's crazy.
Right.
But you just look at, the Olympics that just happened. You talk about only seeing the 2% where you see somebody like Lindsey Vonn crash, like shred her leg. And people are like, that's reckless. That's this. Or you watch like a boxing match or NFL. Like these people are like bludgeoning each other. And we're like, totally fine.
Yeah.
And you're like, but you should not ski fast. And you're like, wait a sec. Like so many things we can like rationalize in our head as like, that's reckless. That's not. And it's like, but there's so many things in our world that are like, you been to a UFC fight? Like, sorry, like not getting in there. But you're just like, how's that like normal and not reckless? But then some of these other things, it's just whatever's outside. I think that reckless piece, the illusion is just like, we can all make things reckless or not reckless, but it's all such an individual perspective.
Oh, very much so.
So much. And I think these are perfect examples.
It's how much you've put into the time to get to that 2%. And again, the 2% success rate, right?
Yeah.
The jump that was perfect and they landed amazing.
Yeah.
Like, let's bring it back to the Olympics. How many Olympic jumps did you see snowboarding and skiing? And dude, I was watching one, this lady went down. She did the half pipe on skis. She did like 3 twists, landed backwards, skiing backwards up the other side, and then I'm like, dude, skiing backwards, I'm freaking out, man. I'm like,
oh,
right?
I know. And they're going 40 feet. That's falling out of like the 3rd story window onto concrete. I mean, that ice, But we're like, oh, that's totally safe.
Wow.
That's fine.
They're getting great 10.
Yeah. Yeah, and they don't. We don't. We
Yeah.
see so little. And
Right.
when you hear from those athletes, what they consistently say is like, there's talent, sure.
Yeah.
But it's the grind.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what all, and it's the grind in this world too, where it's like, hey, who just showed up every day, did their workout, checked their gear,
Yeah.
did some training to make it not reckless.
Right.
Like that's it. It's not that somebody walks in and they're this like magical helicopter rescue specialist. It's like, no, it's just a person that was like
Right.
grinding and
Yeah.
grinding hard. That's it.
And wanting to get better.
Yeah.
Constantly. So that's the other next slide, 98%. So we set up, we get our checklist in place, we get the standard operating procedures, abort criteria, and let's see, redundancy, all our redundancy systems. And then we talk about it. We have communication.
Yeah.
And it's actually kind of cool that the danger demands discipline, right? Because it has to be there. And it's funny because as I'm doing this presentation, I pulled a verse out of the Bible in Proverbs. It's Proverbs 22:3. The prudent sees danger and hides himself, but the simple go on and suffer for it. The bottom line for that is the prudent, we see the danger and we take action on it and we make it safer. The simple, yeah, they don't care. And that's, yeah, well, that was dumb.
Yeah. It is. And all that stuff has to happen together. And I think I love that you ended with communication because
Oh, yeah.
so many times we want to like, I feel like I rail on this a lot, unfortunately. This idea that like paperwork and policies and procedures are safe is an illusion. It's not. It's practice is what makes people safe. And it's good. We got to have all that stuff, but without the practice, it's useless. And without us being able to like do it together
Right.
and communicate and be like, hey, you're having an off day today? Cool. I'll pick up the slack today. Like
Yeah.
all this stuff's useless, but we like a bunch of people are really comfortable with the binders full of paperwork.
Yeah.
And the year-long committee to get some decision made. And you're like, we are not making anything safer.
No.
We might actually be making it worse.
Yeah. You know what? I specifically remember, and when I was training with Priority 1 Air Rescue for a while, we were down with the Customs and Border Protection guys, and something had happened with the Army. And I please forgive me out there. I don't exactly remember how it went, but all of a sudden there was a policy put into place because an accident happened where now you have to clip a carabiner, not only through the main part of the hoist hook, but you had to put a second carabiner through the eye inlet, like the gear eye. And then you needed to connect through both of those carabiners with another carabiner. And I remember looking at this like, oh my Lord, you're like going to bind up all of this. You're never getting off this hook.
Yeah.
And if something goes wrong, you're going to make it even worse. And it did not last. It was like in and out and done. They were like, oh, that's not a good idea. But the fact that like it seemed like, again, I'm not there. I wasn't part of the decision making, but it seemed like a knee-jerk reaction to something that was actually already fixed somewhere else.
Yeah.
And they didn't actually need to do that. And I hate throwing, like, again, I wasn't there. I was not part of that decision making. So I can't, but I remember specifically that coming out and I was like, whoa, hey guys.
Yeah. I mean, well, if we had a problem with one carabiner, if we had another one, then it fixes it. And we don't see that it's like, I think that, yeah, it does. It brings me this idea that like the number of times that we make these big rational or like irrational changes when one thing happens,
Right.
like one thing to one person or one team happens and we're like full sail change and be like, whoa, is this a system problem or is this like a Dave and Quinny problem?
Right. Right.
Just one of them problem. And and I think we were like, oh, something bad happened. We got to go all the way over here. It's like, whoa, maybe not. I had an awesome mentor in the Park Service, and this guy Rennie he was pretty anti-policy at times about like, okay, when you get to here, you must do this. When you're in this type of terrain, you must be roped up. He's like, no. When you're on a rescue, I want you to be thinking about the environment you're in, what you're doing, how you're getting there safely. I don't want you to think about like, hey, am I checking this box that like on some piece of paper to say supposedly safe.
Yeah.
And I was like, that really resonated with me. It's like, no. I want you focusing on the right stuff and not on like a document or something that someone in an office told you, well, this is how we do it here and this is how it's safe. If it doesn't make sense and it doesn't work, it's probably not the right thing.
Right. Dude, that's good stuff, man. I love it. Okay, so this brings me to the extreme safety loop. And it was interesting as I was kind of like batting around some of this, the idea behind this, because everybody does this, right? So we start with the seeing something. We see something wrong, right? Well, then we go in and we start studying that one thing wrong, or we should be studying that one thing wrong instead of like, let's go back to what you said. Is it a Quinny problem? Is it a Dave problem? Maybe we're just screwing it up. Maybe the system is there, but we get an opportunity to study something, and then we get to bring it back and standardize it and say, you know what, this works. So we've studied it, we've tried it, we've tweaked it, we've done this, we've done that. Now let's standardize it. Let's get everybody on board and see how they operate with it. Boom. Next step, we stress it. So we train it, and then we send it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We go into it again. Boom. Send it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, I think when we talk about safety, risk management, whatever we want to call it, I think we really are talking about that, how we manage risk. And so many times I feel like we hold people and programs back from where they might hit that tipping point.
Yeah.
Because we're like, oh, we're scared at what happens there. And I would push against that and be like, you should know when your people are going to fail, know when you're going to fail, know when your gear is going to fail, know when your system, because we've stressed them,
Right.
like you said, and then we send it, and then, hey, let's stress it again and see like, okay, what are we blind to? And so many times we stay so far back of that when it does get stressed and it breaks, we're like shocked.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, that happened out of the blue. And like, well, it shouldn't have happened out of the blue. I should have known that. We should have known that way ahead of time.
Right. Right. Yeah.
And this is an awesome example of kind of how to do that. Like practically is like, yeah, just keep pushing. Hey, poke holes in this.
Yeah. See if it works.
Yeah.
And see how far you can go.
Yeah.
And to get to that red line, that safe, but yet on that edge.
Yeah.
Right. Actually, it's kind of funny because I think about, there's a movie. I'm going to bring Tom Cruise back into this.
Dude,
And
you're all over him today.
Yeah, I know. You know what? Well, he has some pretty good movies that you can reference with some kind of cool stuff. And this one in particular, like Top Gun. No.
Oh, sorry. Risky business?
Yeah,
Where
maybe. I don't know. We're going to slide in like, No, Top Gun Maverick, right? For those that haven't seen it, sorry, but there's a scene where he comes in, he's like, oh man, they're going to shut down the program. And he's like, well, they're expecting us to get to Mach 10. And like, well, no, Mach 9 is today. Mach 10 is supposed to be in like whatever months. Well, they're going to go push the limit, and their goal is to get to Mach 10. And what's interesting is like, if you really like the way the screenwriters did this in that scene, all the checks and balances of, is everybody ready to go? Are all the systems go? Yep. There were so many checks to say yes. Yeah. Then we get up in the air. Boom. Oh, come on, baby. Let's go. Oh, come on. And then boom, Mach 10. Woo. Everybody's happy. Everybody's happy. Right. And then what's Tom Cruise do? Like, I'm going to push it just a little bit more. Right.
Yeah.
Beep.
That's it.
Right. So he's pushing that red line. Well, but what's interesting about that scene for me is that they were supposed to hit Mach 9. That was the goal. They went to Mach 10 and they hit it. That was not the original intention. So they pushed that red line. They got it. And all he had to do was really just back down a little bit. Yeah. But he wanted to push a little bit too far.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Will can do.
At the conference today, Will had a great story from Two Bear Air about just, hey, everything was going right. So, let's push it more. And not seeing that space of like, okay, things are going really well. Like, let's call it here. He's like, oh, what's next? What's next? What's next? And it's like, we push too many what's next, and you're going to find out what's next.
Yeah.
And it was great.
It
was such a great, like, humble story of like, hey, this is what I missed. And I pushed that one time too far. Like 10.1, we didn't need that today. We just needed 10.
That's it. Yeah. And once let's get to that 10, right? Once you're there, let's do it 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times.
Yeah.
Now we're like, oh, we're comfortable at 10.
Yeah.
Now we go 10.1.
Yeah.
I'm with you. All right. Going to the next slide. So one of the things that's interesting is with safety, and safety is written in blood. And most of us that have been in this job long enough, we have seen it multiple times. I've got a picture here up that it's a it's a Coast Guard rescue swimmer that was going to do a cliff rescue, and it was unfortunate that he had fallen down the cliff and ended up rolling down the cliff. And what what's interesting about this is that when the rescue swimmer program in the Coast Guard was made, it was designed to pick people up out of the water that couldn't help themselves. Then all of a sudden, we're doing all of these other things, including getting on a cliff. That's not normal for what the program was intended to be and do. And now all of a sudden, you're like, oh, we're asked to do this.
Right.
We've never trained on that. We've never thought this was going to happen. Or, wow, we don't have a procedure set in place on this.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a tough one because it's one, we're trying to help people, we're trying to do the right thing. And you're like, this slow creep you don't notice where you're like, oh, well, we're doing it in the water. Okay, we'll do it in flat water. And then, we'll do it on the beach. Oh, we'll do it, in the dunes. And then before you know it, you're like, whoa, we are like all these little creeps have become this like gulf that's different from our training, And yeah, I think that biggest head on a swivel moment for me here is like just noticing that different. It's like, hey, I got to be clued in enough to notice, hey, this is way different than what I've been doing. Or there was no part of swimmer school that covered this, but now we're doing it. Like, where's that? Hey, we're at 10-1 now. We're supposed to go to 9. Like we're quite a healthy way past Mach 9 at this point.
Right. And like, again, nothing had happened. There are other cliff rescues that had been done, but nothing went wrong. This one went wrong. So let's go back to our see it, let's study it, let's standardize it, and then let's send it again. And now today we can this is literally a picture of me hoisting. I've got somebody about 120, 130 feet out on a cliffside. I am talking to them on the Access system, giving them instruction as I'm doing the hoist, talking to the pilots, giving them conning, and giving instruction to the dude on the cliff. Because we have evolved that far.
Yeah.
I mean, when you think of stuff like that now, and there are things that I have not done, and there are things that nobody's done yet that is going to happen.
Yeah, I think when you were talking about that scenario, is like, again, you're not talking about the first time. You're not talking about your first time with this crew, with that team. It's like, but that took those steps. That's the 2%.
Right.
But the 98 isn't on there.
Right.
Also from the Avi world, one of the kind of debrief points I really like is that structure is, did we make good decisions today or did we get away with it? Just as that gut check of like that, like you said, with the initial cliff rescue, we're like, hey, we keep doing it and everything's fine.
Right.
And it's like, okay, are we getting away with it? Or are we like making good calls today? Are we doing this well? Or we're just like, hey, we keep getting away with it. So let's keep getting away with it for more. And we're all guilty of that.
Right.
Like where we like convince ourselves we're really good at something and then look back and you're like, oh wow, we were hanging on hope there.
Quite a bit.
Yeah.
Well, and I think today, like how much gear has changed, how much procedures changed, and the things that we've learned from that mishap, and it's been trained. And then even with the good things that have come out in that 98% of practice and creating standards of like, you know what, this might work a little bit better. Like let's use the Petzl Lazard. Yeah. Now I can connect to the side of a cliff and then yet still be connected to the helicopter. And if the helicopter pulls me off, it just pops me right off the cliff. I mean, we're looking for solutions for problems that we know may exist in the future. It's that foresight of like, hey, this might happen. Why don't we get ahead of this now?
Yeah. The Terry from Bell Helicopters had a great presentation today, as always. But one thing he said, he was like, 50 years ago in this industry, 90% of the accidents, incidents were mechanical related. 10% were human related. He's like, now 50 years later, it's flipped. So 90% of the problems we see, incidents, accidents, fatalities, it's human cause. 10% mechanical because you got Lazards and amazing aircraft and all these things. And so, but then we think about the time we spend training on things. It's like we're still spending all our time often on these mechanical things.
Yeah.
and not dealing with like, hey, what's really causing things to go south is this human thing that we got to get a handle on, because we can convince ourselves, oh, hey, I could do this here. I can probably do it over there. Or, hey, I saw this once, or someone told me this is possible, so I'll try it. And, if we can allow people to try stuff without fatal consequence, without damaging stuff, without breaking, that's great.
Yeah.
But like, we got to, like you said, just keep inching at that and not taking the giant leap over the end goal, and just be like, hey, let's just keep bumping this forward.
Yeah.
Let's stress it. Okay, come back. Do it 10 times.
Yep.
That's the
push that line,
Yeah.
push that limit.
Yeah.
But don't push it too far.
no.
Get to 10 point.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. 10-0, man. Be happy.
So one of the next part about this, which I really like to get into, is crew comfort versus individual comfort. And I was out training with a couple guys. It was just a standard hoist training. It was clear blue 22. The seas were nothing. We had a big wide open deck, and I'm trying to get this guy down to a square that was no bigger than like 6 inches by 6 inches. Let's call it a foot by a foot. We'll exaggerate a little bit, right? No, I like the 6 inches. That makes it smaller target.
Yeah. Makes you a superhero.
So what was interesting about this is, as I'm hoisting him out, he came back up and he's like, dude, I don't like that. You're holding me like 5 feet off the ground, and you're making them back up. And he's like, I don't like it, dude. I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm trying to explain, like, hey, this is what we're trying to do. He's like, I get it. Put me on the deck. I don't like that. Okay. So how do we do that? And I get what I want in training. So now he walks over and I have to get the hook to him directly. So he's in a comfort state. That's his max comfort zone. Cool. And I'm going to work with him, and I get my training. He gets his training. We all win. Flip that, because I've been on the other side of that hook, and I am very comfortable there. Whatever.
Right.
What's the worst case scenario? Worst case scenario is, yep, we're going for, and I'm going through all this rigging. Got it. Mentally, I have that. But okay.
Yeah.
It's a good training. It's good for me to put myself, what I think I want to be in, that kind of a bit of an uncomfortable position.
Yeah.
Comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Right. So it was just interesting on that. Throwing it to your thoughts on crew comfort.
No, I think it's totally legit. And, we talk about like what the slowest person, the newest person, the weakest person, the less trained person on your team has to be comfortable. And I think we blow past that sometimes, where we're like, they really do. Like seeing that just 50-yard stare on some people, and you're like, whoa, they're maxed right now. I'm not maxed, but it's like, we got to operate based on them being maxed,
Totally.
And instead of like, well, I'm comfortable here, pilot's good here. Like,
yeah,
you should be able to figure this out. I made a mistake today in my presentation, because we were talking about kind of dealing with helicopters in technical terrain. And every video, every example I showed was like Yosemite big walls, like monster terrain.
Yeah.
And I had this great guy come up after, and he's like, hey, we work in Texas and we don't really have that terrain you're showing. But he's like, is this appropriate on like less steep terrain? I was like, man, I should have said that. I was like, yeah, wherever you feel like you get uncomfortable and want to be clipped to something, then that's what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
That could be like 30 degrees and snowy and slippery.
Totally.
Wherever you feel like I want an anchor, then that's technical terrain.
Yep.
Whatever that is, that could be 30 or 60 or 90. But for whatever you want to be like clipped in on, then that's technical terrain. And I feel like I blew it. I was like, man, I'm sorry. I should have said that as a caveat, that like, I'm not only talking about dead vertical. I'm talking about like wherever you're uncomfortable,
right,
and that's where you should be. Don't watch that presentation and be like, oh, I can only clip into stuff if I'm like hanging off a wall. Like, no, you could be on some like bunny hill somewhere, and that could be technical.
That's awesome.
Totally individual and team based, and like where you're operating, and getting everybody to that point where it's like, okay, what's our minimum comfort standard, and operating off of that.
Yeah. So I love the fact you just brought it to individual. Next slide.
Bam.
So individual comfort, right? So story time. I love this. So my wife and I, we planned this little vacation, and actually she made the mistake of allowing me to plan part of this vacation. And I find this hike that's out and about, and we get to rappel down a waterfall. Like, that's part of it. And the pictures, it's like, it's not that big, it's not that bad. And I'm like, oh, this will be perfect. It'll be a great time. Now, she's never rappelled off anything. Abseiling. Okay. Never done it. My comfort level, yeah. I've been abseiling, I've been rappelling since I was a kid. I've been up and down, like out of trees, off the side of rocks, cliffs. Heck, I've even rappelled out of a friggin' helicopter. Okay. Very comfortable right here. So we get down, we are 5 minutes into this hike and we come to the top of this waterfall. I look down, dude, it's like 60 feet to the pool below us. I'm smiling ear to ear. I turn around, my wife looks at me, not smiling, like dead serious. She's like, I love you, but I do not like you right now. And I was like,
You are never planning a trip again.
totally. But what was interesting to me is that none of the rappelling down that waterfall was unsafe. And my lack of communication to her about the safety and to let her know, like, you can't possibly fall. It's impossible.
Yeah.
They had 2 ropes set up, which is in the picture here. And she was connected by 2 ropes. They had 2 anchors up top bolted into the rock. Each anchor, I believe, had 2 carabiners on it. You're on a figure 8, and there's a dude that's standing at the pool. So if by some chance you, as the person on the rope, were to let go, he is going to pull that tight and lock you off. You might get waterboarded, but you're going to be fine. With that said, I'm the only one that was actually comfortable. So the individual comfort there, they did it. My wife did it. My daughter did it. Our friend did it. I don't think they'll ever do it again. Well, maybe Haley will, but Mel, she's like, nope.
Oh yeah, man. That's real. And it's like, you think about that time, like it's hard for us to remember day one. You know, it's hard for us to remember when like you had never rappelled. Like think of when you were a kid,
Right.
whoever you were with, your buddy or dad or whoever, like walked you through probably all the stuff you walked them through. And you just forgot that. You show up and big smile on your face and you're like, let's go. And they're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, you want to walk us through any of this? And like, we have a hard time going back to that day one, whether it's job or whatever it is we're doing. Be like, oh yeah, how did I feel about this? We talked about before. I just told another heli or a hoist rescuer this. I was like, if there's ever a day that you like swing out of the aircraft, well maintained flying machine, and you choose to swing out of that door on this little bitty cable and your butt doesn't pucker a little bit, like that's a problem.
Right.
Like if you're not like, oh yeah, this is a big deal what I'm doing here, like that's where it starts to get nerve wracking for me. And like it should be like day one for us where we're like, hey, I'm not terrified, scared, but I'm like healthy amount of like, oh yeah, this is real.
Yeah.
Like I'm in it again. I'm locked in, and like thinking what we got to walk her through is the same thing we got to walk like newbie through, and just be like, okay, here's all the ways this is safe.
Right.
Let me walk you through this and this and this and this.
And I did not do that day. Oops.
Not the husband of the year, 2022.
Oh yeah, no, she will tell you that too. Oh, it's funny. All right, we keep going. So the question is, like, what do we do when safety fails, right? We all know the biggest video ever of like the worst spin that got caught. It made it to Saturday Night Live. It made it to all late night TV shows. And oh my gosh, it was awful, right? We as the rescuer side, and again, going back to don't be the headline, don't be that headline. Now, here's what's interesting about this. Like if we break this down a little bit, where like they trained it, they practice it. They actually had a tagline on the pet bag, on the litter, and it broke.
Yeah.
And then it started into this major spin underneath the helicopter. And again, 2 ways to get out of it. Put it back on the ground, which in this case was not really possible because it's just rocky, or forward flight.
Away.
Right? Now, in this in particular one, I don't know what was going on in the helicopter. I don't know what they trained for. I don't know what the conversation was. They did end up going into forward flight. They did end up fixing it, but we can sit here on Monday morning quarterback it all day long and say, well, you should have done this sooner. You should have done that. You should have done this. We weren't on scene.
Right.
This is what happened. And all their safety checks that they had prior to failed.
Yeah.
So.
Right. It's like, it's like training so you can't fail idea, right?
Right.
And practicing till it's impossible to fail, and then not hiding from the things that we're scared of, where we're like, I don't really want to go there because this could get south. And it's like, well, when it goes south, I want you to have seen it before. I want
Yeah.
you to know exactly what to do. So it's almost an 8. And, for like, I'm sure after this, as soon as they're flying away, they know, oh, I should have done this. I should have done, like, we've all done that. We've
Yeah,
all had this
for
incident
sure.
happen. We just weren't on the news with it. And that's the bummer and the unfortunate piece for this team is that is like the image out there for so many. But if we're honest, we've all been there. And what we should have after this, like, oh, okay, yeah, what would we do here? Like, that's the take home. Like, hey, oh, yeah, we would lower out, forward flight. This is what we should do. And thankfully, we had a kind of a free lesson here
Totally.
from other teams
Right.
where nobody died.
Right. Right. Totally agree. And actually, going to the next video, right? So the next video is where Lenny Cunningham and we were able to actually redo that incident to an extent. It wasn't nearly as bad as their incident, but we made it spin underneath the helicopter. And the idea with this was, let's practice it. Let's know how to get out of it. Let's talk through the air crews about how to get out of a spin. And this is just one example. There's ways to get out of spins, swings. There's ways to get out of just different hoisting emergencies. Like, things happen on the hoist deck. It is what it is. Things happen in real life, no matter whether you're on the rock doing some sort of rock face rescue or you're doing a standard hike out rescue. We've talked about that before. Things happen.
Yeah, they do. And like your wife in the rappelling scenario, like, I bet once she did it once, like, wouldn't have been happy about it, but I bet she would have gotten up there and done it again with way less trepidation. She'd just be like, okay, I've seen this before. I know all these systems. And just like here, like, ideally we can let people see stuff and experience stuff in a controlled setting and set it up for them where it's like, hey, it's going to go a little sideways, not uncontrollable, not like damaging or not injuring to people. But hey, I want you, when you start to see this happen, you respond.
Yeah.
Based on, and just like your wife, it's like, hey, now you've seen this system, like, let's go do it again.
Yeah.
Like, this shouldn't be terrifying now that you see like all this stuff that doesn't make sense to you. Here's this multi-point anchor. Here's double ropes. Here's 2 pieces of gear. Here's that guy down there that's your like 5th backup in the system.
Right.
It's like, here, hey, I've seen this before. I know how to deal.
Exactly. And actually, I'll even back up a little bit to having my wife on that cliff. If I had put her on like a 10-foot cliff at like a 45-degree angle and started her there and then built up to that 60 feet on a waterfall, it would have been a whole different ball game.
Yeah.
And so
Such a horrible husband.
Thank you for reiterating that.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
You brought it back up. I didn't say it.
But what I am getting to with all this is we are pushing that red line of safety of like, hey, we're holding that edge. We're being safe about it, but we're pushing that boundary of like, how far can I go and still be okay?
And talking about adaptation, I am certain the next time, if she'll ever let you go near any type of a cliff with her, I bet you'll crush it.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You have
100%.
adapted. You will be like, great A. Be like, we're starting down here. We're doing this. Like, she'll be like hucking herself off that thing by the end of the day.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
So we get into the next part, which is the hidden danger of some of this stuff and the hidden danger of safety being complacent. Like we emphasize this all the time. Don't get complacent. You do this over and over and over and over and over and over and over, and we train until we can't get it wrong. That's the goal, right? But we think about this. Let's bring it back to the first time we've ever done anything, right? We have this, oh my God, I'm a little scared. Like, I'm nervous about this, and I don't want to screw it up. You want to get all your steps and all your checks because you don't want to get hurt. You don't want to do this. Well, then all of a sudden it becomes like a norm, and you're like, oh, I do this every day. I can do it with my eyes closed. Yeah, you can. And that's where I recommend you push that a little bit. Okay, push it to where it's like, yeah, that's safe, totally. And you do it all the time. How do you make it a little bit dangerous? How do you make it a little bit harder, but not too hard?
Yeah.
Get to that 10.0.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you hear it all the time now, I think, in that 1% better every day. Like, just stretching a little bit, like, we want to stress people, like, stress them to stretch, stress them to perform. But as soon as you see that person like stressed to like paralysis, where they're like, oh, you're not functioning anymore, you're not learning anything here. Like, we've pushed it too far. Like, but I think we can do that for ourselves too. If you are that person that's like, hey, this feels mundane or this feels routine, I'm doing the same iteration. It's like, okay, how can I make this more challenging for me
Yeah.
so that I'm stressing to get better, but I'm not stressing to the point where I'm like useless, or I'm
Right.
stressing to
Right.
a point where I'm so tasked and so maxed out that I am unsafe.
Right. And I'm not, you and I are not sitting here telling everybody to like, oh my God, go freaking do some crazy
No.
extreme stuff. We're just saying, hey, keep your wit about you, because that's that thing inside that, oh yeah,
Yeah.
this is dangerous. And yeah, I remember it. And it puts that adrenaline in you and
Yeah.
keeps you sharp.
Yeah.
And that's what we're trying to do. We want everybody to stay sharp at what they do.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you can get, I don't know, you can get so complacent is the word, but it's like I think about all the time my CPR refresher, every
Yeah,
year, every
right.
2 years, where you're like, am I doing this again? And then you leave and you're like, God, I forgot half of that stuff. And it's like, but then the next time I'm doing CPR in front of a family, you're like, damn, I wish I was better. Or thank God I just took that refresher. And it's
Totally.
like that, just that recycle of like, we always want next and next and next. And it's like, well, am I really good at like the baseline here? Like, can I really nail it every single time, on every operation? It's like, no. It's like, okay, well, when you can, then we'll push it further. Like
Yeah.
right now, I just need you to be able to nail it every day, or
Totally.
close to every day.
Yep. Totally agree. Right on. So we give everybody the opportunity to hit abort, and we want to put that in there where, again, putting that crew comfort and that individual comfort into a spot where, you know what, I don't like this. And how do you feel? Do you feel comfortable here?
Yeah.
My dad would ask me that when I was on the steeple. Are you comfortable? No, I'm not. Okay, fix it. If you're not comfortable, well, then you can't proceed forward.
Yeah.
So I've got a video here that's playing, and it's a plane that comes into landing, and it's a big, like, we'll call it a 737, but there's a plane that is crossing the runway in front of them, and instead of hitting it, they take off. They floor it and they take off. Well, the airline pilots practice that, like, as a contingency of like, because it has happened. How do we be able to continue to do flight operations, which seems so benign these days? Like, you just take a plane everywhere, but there's a lot of danger in taking an airplane and taking off and landing with all the air traffic that's going on, right? And then you think back to like a carrier landings. I don't know if you're familiar, but there's like 3 cables on the front end of the deck. And if they miss all 3 cables, their job is to floor it max power for max takeoff in case they miss it. Yeah. Contingency bit. Why would they put that in there?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. A couple planes went off the deck.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you said, they're written in blood somewhere, or written in a really bad accent.
Totally.
All of them. This is a perfect example, because you think about these pilots, they're like, how many times they land, like, maybe they've never even seen this before. They've never seen some runway incursion or something come in front of them. And it's like, they're already, we think about being like 2 and 3 steps ahead sometimes. And if these guys were 2 steps ahead, they're already back at the terminal, like having lunch in their head. And it's like, oh God, there's a plane there. And, whenever we're like, I think, totally task saturated because we don't have our like baselines really well handled.
Yeah.
That's where we miss this thing being different. And we miss the fact that, oh God, there's a plane there right now. Normally I just put it down and I'm done for the day. Then it's taxi time.
Right.
And we did a go around last night, like flying in here to Atlanta. We're like 200 feet off the deck, full throttle, like straight into the air. And the guy next to me is like, what's happening? I was like, something not normal, like somebody or something was down where they shouldn't have been. And we did full go around. And it was like, I don't know that I've done that in a commercial airline. And you're like, oh, that was forceful. You're like, oh, they didn't want that to happen. But I think that thing of like, whether it's a heli rescue or anything else, like if we can't have our head on a swivel and be paying attention to what's really going on out there, like, oh, there's something different. Oh, there's a plane there. Oh, wait, I thought that was on the other runway. Oh, that's in front of us. Like, but if I can't land a plane like all day, every day, then I can't pay attention to that, because I'm so stressed about, I just got to land this plane. Right. And that's the same thing in our world. Like if we're so maxed out by our baseline job, there's no way we're going to catch those things.
Agreed. And that's where I like to use the term pushing to the red line and pushing to the edge to keep yourself sharp all the time.
Yeah, just keep
Yeah.
I think it was Pete Carroll, that football coach, you'd say
Yeah.
is like, find your edge. Like
Yeah.
always keep finding your edge.
Yep.
It's going to change. It's going to move. Like keep finding it. Like
Totally.
know where that is. Like he's not saying to like hurdle over it.
Right.
Like, no, just keep finding it. Like find it over here, find it over there.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So one of the cool things about this whole safety presentation that I dug on this part of it was safety culture maturity. So what's interesting is, and we can all think back of when we were a kid and maybe that one thing that was kind of crazy that we did. And I've got two pictures up here. One of them is a little kid, like an old school 1970 type picture. And he's on a jump. He's like airborne. All his friends are around and
shirt or a tank top.
Right.
Yeah, 1980s safety right there.
And like I remember this as a kid. I remember like building the jump on the driveway and be like, "Mom, did you see that?" And she's like,
Let's
"Yeah."
stack one more brick under there. Like, one more brick. It's never going to fall over.
No, it'll be totally fine. But then, and the next picture is a little kid just doing this little like ski jump, probably a foot off the ground. But you start there.
Yeah.
And again, fall back to my wife and the cliff and rappel. If I had started something super small, it would have been an easier progression, because the next slide I've got is that the jumps don't get smaller.
Yeah.
The jumps they're more dangerous. They're bigger. They're faster. We didn't make it easier. We made things harder. We made the outcome, the consequence worse.
Yeah, I think my favorite current perspective on all this is, I'm sure you saw and everybody else saw that climber, Alex Honnold, climb that building in Taipei, that Taipei 101. And people are like, oh my God, that's crazy. That's risky. That's so unsafe. And then I think they did an awesome job, like flashing back to his gym in Vegas, where he's like on a Rogue machine, literally just doing pull-ups, like at a full wingspan, like hundreds of them a day. And it's like, we don't see any of that. And it's like, dude, this dude has done that move like thousands of times this week.
Right.
And so for us, we're like, that's crazy. And everything we just saw in the Olympics, those are all crazy. Like those kids are like hucking their meat, like so high into the air and so fast. And you're like, yeah. Or the skeleton people, like head first. And you're like, yeah, for you to get on there and do that, for me to do that, we'd die. Totally. But for those people and for that guy climbing that building, like that was a walk in the park for him, because he is like hammered it. And I know that the term, he seems to bristle at that, like that's unsafe, or that is like risky, or that's like thoughtless, especially now that you're a parent. He's like, you have no idea what I've done. Like you have no idea what that 98% is that no one ever sees. And it's like, for me, that was like a Central Park walk, you know? And for you, yes, you should not do that.
Right. For you, it's insane. For you, it's crazy. Don't do that.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think this idea of maturity, I think, is a really cool concept, where it's like, no, we got to evolve somewhere. We're looking at risk and managing risk. We're not, there's no ultimate safety.
Right.
Like that's this illusion. We will never have ultimate safety. Like bad things will happen if we're not ready for them. And sometimes they just happen and we got no control over it. Like the totally objective, like bad luck. Yeah. That'll happen too.
Well, and the other part about this, like safety culture maturity part of it, is this things that we do because we've put into the safety checks and balances as we've progressed. Whereas an outsider looking at it, again, that 98% that we've practiced and done, that when they see it, they're like, oh man, that's not very safe. Well, why?
Right.
Like, ask, why is that not safe? Is it not safe because you've never done that, or you've been in a position where maybe you haven't seen that, or like, and I was like, yeah, that wasn't not safe.
Yeah.
Like everything about that was safe. 100%.
Right.
It was a big consequence if we failed.
Right.
So.
And personal perspective.
Yeah.
Like, what are we putting into it? And it's
right.
like, so
exactly.
And I think for us, circling back to this world where Coast Guard, civilian, government agencies, explaining this to management, explaining this to the people that are making the decisions, like big programmatic decisions, like, okay, how do I successfully show them everything behind what they're seeing? Like, hey, you just see it on the news, or you see this one rescue, or see this one day at training. And it's like, let me walk you through all the stuff these people are doing to make this as safe as possible.
Right.
Like to make this not risky, to make them manage, like to make the risk really well assessed and managed. Like that's, I think, our like the real gap that needs to be crossed.
Yeah. Dude, awesome. Love it. Okay, so now the moment that matters. So we have all this training. The training gives us options, right? And I think about that all the time, especially when it comes to our emergency procedures and stuff that we practice. It gives us, when we try one thing and we do another thing, and the more we see it, the more options that we have to get out of something and to abort something. So training. Discipline. By being able to be disciplined in your training and in your world, it then gives you a sense of calm, because then it's like, oh yeah, I do it all the time. Very disciplined on this. It's good. And that calm saves lives.
Yeah, man. I'm kind of curious from you, like in your transition from being in a military unit and doing that for so long, and then transition to civilian world. How did you find that to be the same between those two? Because I feel like hoisting often, and have said it to people, like it should likely be the most militaristic thing you do, the most kind of regimented,
Yeah.
straightforward. And you came from that, but then you came out into a civilian world, and then also a foreign country to do it. Like, how was that transition for you?
I would say the transition was really good. But again, like you said, it started with the military, right? So it had all those little checks and balances that the military loves to put in and do. But then on the civilian side, there's a little more dynamic to it, where you can, there's systems in place and there are things you can try and you can do. And smaller agencies can actually go further than the bigger agencies, because you don't have to, there's not so much red tape.
Right.
And it doesn't cost as much for that training change. Like, I don't want to throw any companies or agencies under the bus, but let's use a like a small police agency. They have maybe 2 helicopters. They've got maybe 6 crews total.
Right.
Like, all right. So everybody's pretty intimate with each other as far as working together. You know the ins and outs of everybody, how somebody says something, like the demeanor of everybody in the crew, right? But then you go to a much bigger national program and or even bigger international type program, and now all of a sudden you're trying to standardize everybody. And if you wanted to bring in one piece of equipment that might cost you an extra $100 per, it now costs you millions of dollars in training.
Yeah.
And you're like, for that one thing, we don't need that.
Yeah.
And that is the difference that I see on that side of it. And even civilian side, I would say, if you have a smaller agency, I can't speak for you guys specifically, but I mean, if you wanted to bring a piece of gear in, is it that hard?
Yeah, no, I think you nailed it, where it's like the small versus the large, like they both have their benefits.
Right.
But then that piece of, maybe it's buy-in or maybe it's a commitment to it. I think that's the bigger piece, is where, I think coming from some other perspectives, sometimes you're like, oh yeah, I like winged it and I got here.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, well, we're out of the winging it world now. It's like, versus your upbringing, it was like, oh no, you knew day one that you were in a bigger thing than you.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, this is where you're at and we'll build you from here. And I think sometimes it can be a challenge the other way, where it's like, hey, these folks work their whole career to get here. And then now we're telling you that you're back at step one. And that's where some of these things I think can be hard for people, where it's like, oh, I'm at the twilight or the highlight of my career. And now you're telling me I'm like starting at zero. And that's where I think those mantras, if you will, are awesome.
Cool. Thanks, man. All right. So now my next picture is, again, back to my wife and I. And this is kind of funny. We went out. All right. So the line on the screen literally says, your version of the edge. And I want this to be for everybody. So we're out in this place called Edge of the World. That's literally the place we're at. And we could walk out to this like cliff edge. I can tell you right now, she got this picture and she was gone. Like we
This
watch,
before or after rappelling?
this is way before rappelling,
Okay.
right? So God bless my wife. She has been and done just about every extreme thing that I've done, except for jump out of a plane and parachute, like free fall, skydive. But and I, again, mad credit. She tries it and she's like,
Check.
yeah, that's not really for me. And that's, but I like, God bless her. She tries everything. So anyway, so we're standing on this edge, and I remember her specifically be like, let's take the picture and then I'm done. And then I'm standing there, I'm checking it out, and she's like, don't get that close. And I'm like, babe, it's cool. Like, I'm comfortable here. It's all right. But so my challenge is to everybody out there and all the listeners, what is your edge? Find your edge. And can you push past the uncomfortable safely?
Yeah. And that's it, man. That's work, personal life, everywhere, you know? Like when my wife and I met, she did a bunch of things, big snowboarder, doing all these other things, but climbing was new. And so I'd take her, and I was pretty prescriptive about how things went, and still am, like with myself, with anybody, like, because I've seen all the end results of things going sideways. And she was like, God, you're always like checking this and double checking that and making me say these stupid terms. And like, we're always like so regimented about this. And, you know, I could have done that for years and made no impact. But then she went and climbed with other people. And she came back like kind of spooked. And she was like, oh, I showed up. Nobody really talked to each other. We all just kind of put on our own stuff and clipped into our own stuff, and people just left. And I was kind of there like hanging out like, okay, I guess I'm belaying you now. And I think it was that where, you know, it's like a kid. Like I could have said, no, 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 this is how you do it, blah, blah, blah. And in the end, for ourselves and for coworkers, spouses, like we've all got to just like, hey, you got to learn this on your own a little bit. And like for her to go out to that edge and be like, you know what? Ain't for me, Quinny. Like, nope.
Right.
Not even if 2 years from now you put me on a rope, still nope. But I'll keep trying.
Yeah.
And like good on her and good on us, because we think about all the places we don't find our edge anymore. We're like, okay, I found my edge and I'm going to just park it here. It's like, no, 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 that thing keeps shoving, man.
That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
I want to constantly find that edge.
Yeah.
I really do. I don't want to be injured. I don't want to get hurt. I don't want others to get hurt, but I constantly want to push. I want to just keep pushing hard.
Yeah.
And that's, and like, I guess the one of a great way to probably try to get with anybody and everybody, it doesn't matter what you do, is like in the gym and going to get a workout in. And like, again, I'll throw my wife under the bus kind of, but if she has to work out alone, she is not going to push herself as though if we were working out together, like same workout, but because there's somebody pushing her. Oh, now we're going to turn it up and pushing that edge, pushing that limit.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
You know it with all your fitness background. I mean, you do it with all your monthly challenges and stuff. If you did the same challenge every month where it's like, oh, we're doing burpees again, your body gets used to it.
Right.
You don't get better. You don't get stronger. None of that stuff. It's like, but whatever it is that keeps you, one, improving, and two, like keeps you locked in. Like what keeps you psyched and like engaged and like, I want to keep getting better. And it's like, that's often on us to find, where it's like, no one's going to give you that. No one's going to be like, oh, all right, Quinny, it's time to stop doing burpees. Let's try a different exercise, you know? Like,
yeah.
Because if you don't, it's like, well, great. You'll be really good at burpees until I'm sure there's some decline on the back end. But it's like, if we're not locked in, that's where we lose it. And I don't know. I think that's a good thing for all of us to just keep like reassessing. Like, am I pushing it? Like, we're not, like you said, we're not pushing people to the extreme. Like, we don't want ultimate failure. We don't want catastrophe, but we need to know where we start to get uncomfortable and be like, oh, okay, that's it. Like, that's where I need to spend some time. Like, I hate doing squats. Okay, I should probably never do them again.
Work on a weakness.
That's it, man.
Yeah. You're pushing your adrenaline to that red line. You're striving for failure.
Yeah, man.
But if I don't fail, that's a great spot to be as well. As long as I got that sharp edge. Yeah. Keeping it tight.
Yeah. It's the only way to stay in there. Like,
for sure.
Otherwise, it all falls apart, man.
Totally. So back to the original story of me being hanging from a helicopter, 15 to 20 foot waves, boat on fire, and I've got to pull people out of the water. This is what I love about this is not a story. It's not a hero story. It really is not. this is a story that shows where discipline comes in and you respect the danger, that danger zone. And when you prepare for it, you trust your crew, you trust your training, you trust each other. It just works. And that red line that you try to push doesn't seem like a red line when you're on scene.
Yeah.
It seems like standard, normal operating procedures.
Yeah. And I again, terrifying for me. I want no part of anything on October 20th, 2002. Like none of it. But I'm sure when you showed up, you're like, hey, you know what? Okay, fine. In totality, maybe this looks like a complete dumpster fire. But there's pieces of this I've already seen and done before. Like, hey, get that one dude. Done
Right.
that before. Get that person out of a boat. Done that before. Get that person off the big boat. Done that before.
Yep.
Oh, I've seen stuff on fire before. Like all
Which I
those little.
hadn't.
Oh, okay.
That was a new one.
Just pretend. Fake it a little bit. But I think all those little things where it's like, I had a really great conversation with somebody about just anytime you're doing something, it's the absolute first time. If you've never seen it before, that's a good gut check to be like, okay, maybe I shouldn't be there. For you that day, if you went and you looked around, you're like, I've done none of this ever.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not your day. But if you can like piece it together and be like, okay, I can handle that problem. I can deal with that. That one I got too. Like, cool. That's new. Well, we'll get to that later. Like, I think that's the place where it's like, I think we can just break it down a little bit and keep pushing a little bit. But if you've never, ever, ever seen it, we're probably venturing into the reckless.
Yeah, totally. But the other part about this is all that training and everything, all that pushing the red line, pushing the adrenaline, it gives you a sense of like utter confidence.
Yeah.
And by going in there confident and thinking, man, I got this.
Right.
Dude.
Yeah.
You're
And
at
we
another
got
level.
this.
Yeah.
Pilot,
Totally.
operator, swimmer. Like, hey,
Yeah.
are we good today?
Yep.
Like, is this really our day? Yep. Okay. Let's go make it our day.
Let's go make it our day. Let's go save lives. And actually at the end of this, which was awesome, is we end up saving over 20 people on this crew. Forgive me, I forget the total number. There were a couple of people that passed away, but overall, combined efforts of us as the U.S. Coast Guard and the Good Samaritan vessels that were there. I mean, this was a success story. It really was. Tragedy was there, but there was a lot of success on the back end of it. And it was, oh man, still, again, the biggest rescue I've ever had. And
Yeah.
I've had an opportunity to meet Captain Shoemaker again in person, and to talk to him it's an honor, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
So I dig it.
And
What?
it's like, this is the 2%. It's
Yes.
your 1%, your 0.5. The
Oh, yeah,
only one like this you did.
Yeah.
And we got to like all that 98, 99, almost 100% of what you did before makes this like, okay, I can do that for
Yep.
those 20 people.
Totally.
Still terrifying. No way, man.
Extreme by nature, safety by design, pushing the limits by trial and error, and safety.
Dude, beautiful. Like,
Dude.
best takeout you could have.
Dude, Dave, thank you so much for joining me today. It's an honor to be here again with you. I think, man, this is a thing. We got
It
a thing
is.
going on, dude.
Yeah, we're in that, like Jamaica. We got to do something warm, something
Okay.
different. Yeah. There's got to be one of these conferences in like Tahiti.
Let's find one.
Yeah.
Okay.
We've upgraded our backdrop.
We-
We're not
we
in a
did.
hotel lobby. We're in like the penthouse right now.
We are up in the executive suites.
Yeah, buddy. Next time, rooftop.
I don't-
Rooftop, tropical.
You know what? What if we make it like Bangkok?
Fine.
Rooftop bar.
Rooftop. Good.
Brother,
Thank
it's
you,
been a
man.
pleasure, man.
Thank you.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we are out of here.
Go. Now it's time for me to pull chocks and take off. But before I go, I'm always looking for the memorable rescues that people have done. If you have one that you're willing to share or know somebody who has a story, please feel free to reach out to me. I'd love to highlight it here at the Real ResQ. For everybody that is standing by for that SAR alarm, remember, those in distress are praying for a miracle. They are going to get you. So until next time, fly safe and swim hard.
waiting for me to let them out the car to go for their run. He's ready to go for your run. Yeah? Come on then.